your Comedy Minute. I'm Scotty T. I've got an amazing woman, Priya Guyadeen. Did I say it right? Priya Guyadeen?
You did, Scott.
Okay,
You
that's
did.
it. We can
Somebody
just
should give
stop
you
the
an
recording
award.
now. We can just stop the recording now. Priya, you're in California.
I am.
Okay. Were you born in, you weren't, because on your Facebook page it says Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, I'm kind of like P. Diddy, always, like
Oh,
escape.
no Diddy, no Diddy, no Diddy, no Diddy.
I'm always escaping the
I met
authorities.
Diddy. Here, I'm going to do two things real quick. I met Diddy, and I've been in California, and I've been to Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
I
But
haven't
you
been to
didn't
I
go to
haven't
his
been to
house, did you?
Guyana.
Did
I'm
you?
jumping ahead, but I haven't been to Guyana
Okay. All right.
because I did a little research. Hey, if
Yeah,
I have somebody on, I want to make sure I give
that's
them
good. You're like the
their due
CIA.
respect. So fill us in. Take me from California, Toronto to Guyana. Get me through
Yeah,
all
so
that.
I was born in Guyana, South America,
Okay.
and I know you're from the East Coast, so you guys
Well, I'm from my mom originally. Well, she said a bird shit me out and the sun hatched me, but
but you guys understand how to read a map, so that's good.
oh, here we go. There's the opening shot.
I was born in Guyana, South America. My
You were
parents,
born again.
yeah,
You were
I
born
feel that
again.
way sometimes. My
Okay.
parents immigrated to Canada when I was 2,
Okay.
and I grew up there,
In
uh,
Toronto.
in Toronto.
Yeah, I love Toronto.
You
I like
said
it.
you've been to Toronto, so
Yes, ma'am.
Canadians, they're like, they're some of the nicest
Yeah.
you'll ever
It was
meet,
really
right?
clean too when I was in Toronto. It was amazingly clean.
Yeah. Yeah, they're some of the nicest racists you'll ever meet, you
Nicest
know?
racist. Jesus God. We're not even 2 minutes in. And here you go. Kids, hold on to something. This is gonna be a bumpy ride.
It's good. Like,
Oh
hold
my
on to
God,
that
Priya.
baseball
I
cap.
wondered how long. I wondered how long we'd go.
This is gonna be a rocky one.
Toronto, Canada has some of the nicest racists. For all you kids in Toronto,
They love that joke, actually. I do that all the time, and the Canadians love it. And that's a great thing. We have a great sense of humor. We love to take the piss out of ourselves, and we take it well.
well, now you
Uh,
keep saying we, but you're in California.
well, I'm here, but I don't feel like a Californian. I think especially
Well, now
here in Northern
we got to
California.
go slow. We got to take baby steps. I'm dumb as a bucket of rocks. How did you
Okay.
get? I'm stupid. I'm just dumb as shit. How did you get from Toronto, Canada, to California? How the hell that happened?
Well, I moved out here because I realized that, I didn't want to live in an igloo for the rest of my life. It's just too freaking cold in Toronto. I love Canada. I do, and I love
Okay,
Canadians. I love everything about the Canadian culture
right.
except the weather.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
just
don't
not
like it.
conducive to human, like, sustainability.
You want to know something? And I'm not lying, Priya. I'm in York, Pennsylvania. It's 50 degrees today, and I'm cold. Hence, I have the long johns. I don't like cold. And the older you get, the less cold you like.
Oh yeah. I lived in Maryland, and I used to drive from
Oh,
Maryland
really?
to Toronto. Yeah. In
No,
like
I lived in
Pennsylvania.
Maryland too. I lived in Columbia. I like it city. I've been all over.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know, like, can we say anything on here, or does it need to be clean, or can we be
No,
a
no.
little risk? We
You
can say
can say,
whatever.
can I say the F word?
Yeah, I mean, it's your
You
show.
can say any fucking thing you want to say, Priya. Anything at all. I don't give a shit.
I mean, like, Pennsylvania is like my vagina. It's like the longest fucking state. I feel like when you drive through that place,
Oh
like
my
you feel
God.
like it feels like it's never going to end. Like, I feel like you never know. It
Bullshit.
feels like you
Bullshit.
drive.
You ever
You
been to
feel like you're going to
Florida?
drive
You ever
forever.
drive through from the top of Florida to the bottom of Florida?
Yes. Well,
The
I've
marathon. My
driven from
grandparents did the
Toronto to Florida.
marathon. And I thought, oh fuck, we're in Florida. This is gonna be great. we're 6 hours in, and we're still 6 hours from my grandparents' place.
We used to drive from Toronto to Florida 2.5 days. Only
Jesus
Indian
God.
people would do that. Only Indian people would do that because why? We're
Indian
cheap. We're
people,
cheap
here we go,
motherfuckers,
kids. Here we go. Only
We
the
are, we're
Indian
cheap,
people.
right? Anything to save 50 cents, right?
Uh,
My dad is like, oh, we can drive. We can drive from Toronto to Florida. That's the stupidest thing we ever did.
my grandparents used to drive from York, Pennsylvania down to Marathon, Florida, and around Georgia they would check in, pull over for the night. I can relate. I can relate.
The funniest thing to me when we would do those road trips, and because we never, we didn't travel a lot. My parents were poor and humble, middle class Canadians, and we would get to the United States, and we'd get to Georgia, and we would go to the restaurants, and my mom would order a cup of tea. Right now, if you know anything about Canadians, we come from, we have a very strong British influence. For us, a cup of tea is a hot drink with milk, right? For you guys in the United States,
A
and
cup of hot
especially,
water with a tea bag.
no, it's iced tea. It's iced tea
Oh,
down there,
she got
right?
iced tea.
So they would always give us they would always give us this watered down, like it looked like brown piss, right? And we were always like, what is this? We
That's
would just
funny.
have this blank, and then we'd have to go back and and break it down. Could we have a cup with hot water and a tea bag and then some milk? And then, we'd have to deconstruct a cup of hot tea for them. It
Oh,
was so
okay.
weird. It
Well,
was
and
such
when
a
you go
weird
down south,
experience.
they have sweet tea, which that shit, oh my God. No, just bring
Right.
regular tea and
So
I'll
we
sweeten
just
it
thought it was the
myself.
weirdest thing. Yeah.
Well, let's
Yeah.
let's try and get us over to a little comedy if we can. The Cougar Comedy Collective.
Yeah.
That tell everybody about that.
Yeah, I started that a little over a year ago when I kind of
Okay.
started comedy because I got into comedy late in life. I started comedy at the age of 51. I'm now going to be 55 this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna ask. I had someone on yesterday was 73.
Wow, really?
73.
Comedian.
Yep.
Wow, that's
Linda
amazing.
Marcus Smith. Yep. I
Oh,
was
wow, yeah. I am feeling more inspired as I see more and more comedians in
By
art.
the way, since we're doing full disclosure, and I know you like full disclosure, I'm 61. I'll be
Wow,
62 in August.
congratulations. Good for
I
you.
I I got fired from my job for telling jokes.
Really?
That's
Wow.
that's how your comedy minutes started. And here we are right
Wow.
now, me and Priya,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
creating that comedy magic.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I started the Cougar Comedy Collective because there was a need for women my age to tell their stories, and I wasn't finding that outlet for myself. And I had
Women of a certain age.
yep.
What is
So I
there?
said
What
to a
is it? What is
friend,
the age requirement for?
we usually have female comedians, well, and male and men too, over the age of 40, you
Okay,
know.
they have to be over
Um,
40.
yeah,
Okay.
sometimes we'll have younger comedians too. We call them Cougar Cubs,
Cougar Cubs.
just to kind of make it
I
fun.
apologize. I just didn't get a lot of time to look over everything, but I wrote that down.
Yeah, yeah. So, just to make it fun. It's an entertainment experience. It's not just a comedy show. We try to make it fun and
Okay.
relatable and things like that. But yeah, it was really just to give women of this age group an opportunity to tell their stories. And it's not really just about older women dating younger men. It's really about all the other things that we do
Yeah.
at this age, and we have comedians on the show that are LGBTQ comedians
Yeah.
that have disabilities, as I said, male comedians. So we try to highlight all the different things that people are doing in this next chapter of their life. And I'm trying to, I'm working at it. It's difficult because I'm a single parent, and I gotta parent and do all that
Right. Yeah.
stuff too. So it's still, it's still a work in progress, but I hope to get it
Good.
going,
Good.
and make it more,
We
keep it going and get it more successful.
I have not been secretive about this, and I'll tell you, if I could have nothing but female comics on this show from this day forward, I would do it.
Oh,
Not
that's
even
great. I
scared,
know.
not even a
Yeah,
little bit. Not even scared a little bit. Just
and
because
I'll tell you.
I think that combination of a man and a woman, and just, it's hard because female comics don't get and that's why I want, I feel strongly about that. And anything you can
Yeah.
do to help me, please.
Oh, thank you. I
Any
appreciate
any
that.
any any member of the Cougar Comedy Collective that wants to, please contact me. I'd love to have you on.
Oh,
I
thanks.
mean
I
it.
appreciate that. Yeah,
No, I
we
mean it, because I just think that, well, and there's a whole lot of, there's a lot of things run through my head. The comedians have done comedy for 20 years versus, someone like you just started, or me. I had a guy on recently. You know what you need to do? You know what I need to do is not listen to assholes like you.
exactly.
You've been doing it 20 years and you're asking to come on my show,
Yeah.
asshole. You know, there's an old song that I even mentioned it, Judas Priest. You don't have to be old to be wise.
Hmm.
You don't have to be old to be wise. You don't have to be doing comedy for 10 years
Yeah.
versus somebody that's been doing it for a little bit, And
Right.
I worked in the music business, and you either have it or you don't.
Right. Right.
And I tell you what, I watched some of your TikTok videos. You have it.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You have a presence about you. You have a presence, man, oh man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's start uh in the comedy vein. Your first stand up, what was that like, and where was it at?
My very first stand up was on Zoom.
Was where?
On Zoom.
No, 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 no. Have you done a live in front of people?
Oh, my first live stand up was
Yeah, yeah,
an
yeah.
open mic. Was an open mic at a local comedy club. It was an open mic.
In
And I was
California?
in California. I
Okay.
was so nervous, and
Yeah,
it was
that's what
just
I want to
the
hear.
pandemic. I was outdoors, I
Okay.
was so nervous. And, I rehearsed my 5 minutes, like, over and over and over and over again. And, and I'm like sweating and all that kind of stuff, the whole thing you go through. And then I get to the open mic and I'm watching all these other open micers go up
Right.
before me. And I'm thinking, what was I so nervous about?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was going to ask, can you do a couple of minutes from the first one?
From the
Do
very
you
first
remember
one.
any? Do you remember any of it?
Geez, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember what the opening, I can't remember what the opening joke was, but the signature joke in the set was my son's favorite movie is Toy Story. And Toy Story was written by a 54-year-old woman, because who else would name their favorite toys Buzz and Woody?
Woody. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's the signature joke of the set, and that got a big laugh. And I think another joke in there was something about being from Canada, and that's why I'm polite and I say I'm sorry, but I swear like a sailor, or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it didn't, and it was the typical, open mic, mostly comics in the audience,
Yeah.
but quite a few of the jokes got laughs
Okay.
more than the other comics that were on
Well,
the lineup.
enough to keep you going.
Enough to keep me going. And it was surprising because when I got off, the booker said to me, because I ended the set saying, this was my first time ever doing stand up, and it was a lot less painful than childbirth, you know.
Yeah.
And the booker said to me at the end, is that true? Was it really your first time? And I said, yeah. He said, well, you did a pretty good job,
You're
so
impressed. He was impressed.
and from there I just kept going, and it was mostly, back and forth between Zoom mics and live stuff in the beginning, because we were we were opening and we were closing, kind of like my legs back in the
Oh,
day.
oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There she
You know,
goes.
yeah, there was an opportunity there, so I went
But
for
now,
it.
you know what? I normally don't do this, but before we started the recording, you said you looked at some of my stuff, and your exact verbiage was, "Boy, you do some dark stuff." And I got to tell you, Priya, I wear that like a badge of honor. I wear that.
No, that's great. I think it's great. There's not, I think it's fine. I think all genres of comedy are great. And I think there's a place for everything, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with dark comedy.
The irony is, again, we're just meeting for everyone just tuning in, or we've never met. I have no idea what she's going to say. I have,
Mhm.
and so I do quickies, your comedy minute quickie. I do one of those, like, go out on the porch and I shoot a batch of, and a joke like, "What's a policeman's favorite sweater?" "A pullover." Some dad joke, some simple dad joke will have 10,000 views on YouTube.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, something that I really liked, it's just it's comical to me how, and maybe you feel this way too,
Mhm.
jokes that you really like and you think are just magical
Don't hit. Yeah. Yeah.
versus a joke that you did thinks it does, just blow and they laugh like crazy.
Yeah, I did a TikTok video about a political TikTok video about Vivek Ramaswamy,
No,
and
I love that one. I saw
yeah,
that one. What was
right.
it? What was his campaign slogan? Brown is what was? No, go ahead. What was it?
I think what I said was everything's coming up brown,
Yeah, everything's coming up brown. Yeah, I
right?
watched that one. That was a
Got
good
like
one.
6,000 views. I just thought it was, I just thought it was because for me, it was just like, what is going on? Like all of a sudden, all these brown people are getting into politics. It's not really our thing. We're kind of like, yeah, we're activists by nature and stuff. But, on the Republican side, no, our, that's not really our stance. We always are on the other side. Right. And now
Yeah.
you get these two, you know, wearing the red flag. Now I was like, and who's this Nikki Haley person, like some kind of brown Sarah Palin, and they loved that stuff. I just thought it was kind of like, I didn't think it was that funny, but I was
I
like,
just
did you put
I was
something
happy
in
I
the
could say
chai?
Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
I think that was what got me. And I liked him. I thought he was funny.
Yeah, I
He was
didn't really,
funny and smart.
I
Who
think
knows
that
though? He might be Trump's running mate.
uh,
But I don't
I
do politics. I don't do politics.
I mean,
Honestly, I don't.
he looks like a toothpick, I don't know.
I know, I know, but you know what? I don't do politics.
Yeah, yeah. No.
I don't do politics, really. I don't. I this this, by the way, is a talking Donald Trump doll that someone gave me. I'm not. I don't do politics. Honestly, I
Mhm.
don't.
Right.
It does. No, I mean it.
No, I believe you. I believe you.
Because, and I actually, the video that's coming up tonight premieres tonight. I actually got it out, and it does talk. It does like 14 different sayings or 19. But I said, if you live in the United States and you mention Trump, half the room's gone. You mention Biden, half the room's gone. It's that is 1-800 bad idea. Discussing
Right.
politics.
Right.
And
Right.
you not only that, I was taught early on, don't do politics or religion, and I just don't. I don't do them. I don't do
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I
I
I mean,
mean,
I touch on them lightly in my comedy, but I don't go too heavy into it,
well, like you said, though, to each his own.
Right. Yeah.
I did one with someone that was talking about a comedian, Jackie Mason, who used to do politics. Well, that was different time,
Yeah.
back, when Nixon was in and, shit like that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's different times now.
Right. Right.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
the more you adapt, like you doing the TikTok videos and stuff, which by the way, let's get back a little bit. You have a YouTube channel. I have the 58 subs, 71 videos, 6,972 views. You have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And I just love the reels and stuff you're putting up. That's great stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think that what I'm seeing is you have your stand-up comedians and you have your Instagram, TikTok folks, and you're combining them, and I think that's real smart.
Yeah, I'm working on it. It's hard again, as I said, being a single mom and having to,
Yeah,
split my time basically. But,
sure.
eventually it'll all kind of come together. And,
What's the goal? What's the goal
the goal is, really,
besides your child?
oh
Obviously, that's
yeah, I really feel like my goal is to, end up in corporate. I think that I would be a great corporate comedian because I've
yeah,
been in the corporate world for a long
yeah.
time.
You project that image. Yeah.
Yeah, I've lived abroad. I speak different languages.
Wow.
I'm a nurse by
What the
trade.
hell are you doing on my show? Women like that don't talk to me. Women like
So I
that don't
think I've
talk to
got
me, for shit's sake. Did
I
somebody
feel
pay
like I've got
you?
all
Did
the
someone pay
right
you? Priya,
stuff
did
for
someone
that
pay you to
world.
come on here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then the sponsors are doing their job. The hell are you doing on this little dog and pony act? This thing ain't gonna get you anywhere.
Right, right.
No, I've been blessed. I started it 4.5 years ago, and I got lucky a few times. And it's funny to me, the social media aspect versus the stand-up comedians. There's some real hatred going on there. There's some real hatred going on.
I mean, it's an interesting time. I think that coming up in comedy in this time is challenging, right?
Yeah,
You're
well, I mean, because I hate when I talk too much, and I know I'm already talking too much, but I've done like 150 of these, and what I'm getting is the young TikTok, they can pack a room.
hmm
And the older stand up, Rodney Dangerfield, my kind of comedy, they're pissed off, but yet this kid can fill up the room.
Yep. Yeah. That's kind of summing it up.
I mean, I don't mean to oversimplify it, but that's what I'm
That's
taking from what I've
basically
been
it.
hearing,
Yeah.
over the last couple of months.
That's basically it. There are these young TikTok comedians, young social media comedians that they're huge draws.
Yeah.
And in that sense, comedy hasn't changed because it's just all about butts and seats, right? And
Yeah,
that's what
but
they
but what I'm hearing is a lot of them weren't funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I mean,
it's
that's what I'm hearing. I don't,
a different style of comedy for sure. You're
yeah,
not seeing that traditional setup punch. You're not seeing that,
yeah,
you know, um, uh, real engagement with the audience. You're not, you don't see that. You don't feel connected. I don't see the connection between the comedian and the audience that you would be with a real pro comedian.
wow,
And
you're
I've
amazing. You're
very,
amazing. Tell
uh,
me some of your favorite comedians, because I'm watching you. I'm trying to look up at the camera, but I'm watching you. You must be a fan of comedy. You must be a real
well, I
fan of
do. And
comedy.
I've watched, I mean, I've been watching it since I've started. I watched Dry Bar. I watched Dry Bar all the time when I first
Okay,
started, just kind
right,
of learn how to do clean comedy and what they did and the physicality and stuff. And I've been blessed to work with local pro comedians and
right.
see how they work a room and how they
Okay.
work an audience and what they do. And you know, I get to work with local comedians here, like Kabir Singh, who's a local
You
comedian.
can mention however many people you want to mention. I'll put their Kabir
Yeah, Kabir
Singh?
Singh is very well known. He toured with Russell Peters for many
Sure.
years, and Angela Johnson, and he was on America's Got Talent, and I get to work with him every so often.
Okay.
Larry Bubbles Brown, he's been on David Letterman
Okay.
twice. He performs with Felipe Esperanza. I get to work with him every so often. I really like Leanne Morgan, who's come up recently. She's very
Leanne
funny.
Morgan. Okay.
Yeah. I
Do
like
you do
Joe
you, do
Coy,
you
obviously. What's that?
do you find that comedians are helpful?
If you get to work, if you get to meet a comedian, a, like a pro comedian who's been doing it a long time and doesn't have anything to prove,
Yeah.
they will be willing to teach you, and they'll
And
be
help
willing
you.
to share
Yeah.
pearls of wisdom,
Yeah.
right? And that's the best thing.
If you
And like
you
Vanessa
mentioned that
Hall,
you watched a little bit of some of my darker stuff.
yeah.
I had Tom Padovano on, and
Mhm.
Tom wrote jokes for Phyllis Diller, Joan Rivers, Rodney
Mhm.
Dangerfield,
Mhm.
Tom Dreesner. I think it's Tom. And I was so humbled. I called him a comedy legend because I'm comedy. I've only been doing it, but I was a kid. I've always been an idiot, but I love comedy, and
Right.
I'm just real taken back by uh,
Mhm.
the whole art and craft of it. Now I'm
Right.
more a one-liner guy.
Right.
That's what I grew up on: Henny Youngman and Dangerfield and Johnny
Yes.
Carson, The Tonight Show.
Right.
And I love that kind of comedy. I love to do short little where
Yeah.
people go, "What the hell did he just say?" And
Right.
that's my and you're right. I do some real dark stuff that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
But
know,
that's good. My first comedy coach, my first mentor, that's what he taught me. That's what I learned was the setup punch, was the one liner.
yeah.
And that's how I write. And
Is it?
I think that's where you have to start, and I think that's where a lot of these young social media comedians are missing the mark. you
Yeah,
know they go on there, and they're getting on stage,
yeah,
and they're taking a really long time to get to a laugh,
yeah. Oh my God,
really
yeah.
long
Oh my
time
God,
to
yeah,
a punchline. They're interrogating an audience member before they're even getting to a laugh,
yeah, yeah,
and so they're missing the whole art of the joke, in my
yeah.
opinion,
Right.
right? And one of the wonderful things I've had is the I've been so fortunate to become friends um, with talented pro comedians
Yeah,
who have just through my friendships and conversations with them will share pearls of wisdom with me.
yeah.
I've gotten to know Vanessa Hollingshead, who is a New York based comedian
I'm
who,
familiar. I know. Yeah,
yeah, fantastic, talented
yeah,
comedian who's been on, she's
yeah,
done the Funny Women of a Certain Age. She's been on
yeah,
Showtime,
yeah.
HBO. She's just done her dry bar special. She's so phenomenal. And, and every once in a
Hey,
while,
hey, do you think you can get her to come on my show? Talk
she
to her.
works a lot. She works a
Talk to her
lot.
for me.
Yeah.
I'll have the sponsor send you a shirt.
But
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
um,
I'm just
that's
playing
one of
with
the
you.
best things for me, is
Yeah.
just being able to just have those moments, with
Well,
comedians
Priya,
like
you
that.
have a presence about you. You're very again, I watched a couple of your TikTok videos, and man, I call it when you're coming down the pipes. When you are coming down the pipes, man. Whew. In other words, I learned this early on. There's a difference if I'm looking versus if I, come down the pipes. If I'm over here talking, if express, man, when you come down the pipe, shoo wee, man, you get whatever. Wait a minute, officer.
Right.
Whatever you want. Um, well, we don't have a lot of time left, so I want to make sure that we cover everything that you want to mention as far as upcoming gigs or
Mhm.
obviously TikTok, Instagram, your YouTube channel, anything the Cougar Comedy Collective, which I just love that. I'm too old
Mhm.
for you, but No, just mention anything you want to run
Let's
through.
see. I've got coming up some local gigs I have coming up. Doing a Mother's Day show this Saturday in
Yeah.
San Jose, variety show with
By the way,
some.
happy Mother's Day a
Thank
day or
you.
two early. Happy Mother's
Thank
Day.
you.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's not really Mother's Day when you have to make your own Mother's Day lunch.
Now let's get the little bastard. I'm gonna get the little bastard on the phone and I'm gonna talk to him.
Yeah.
Cook mom up some shit. Let's go.
Right. But it's fine. It's good.
You got a Mother's Day show. Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, let's see what else is coming up. I have another show at the end of the month. My Cougar show will be
Okay,
at
good.
Alameda Comedy show at the Alameda Comedy Club on May
I'll meet
31st.
him. Yeah.
And then we will be, let's see, I'll be in two comedy festivals this year in June, one in Minneapolis,
Okay.
Looms on the Lake.
What we'll mention that Minneapolis just did someone the other day from Minneapolis.
Okay, yeah, I'll be Looms on the, I think it's the Looms on the Lake
Yeah,
Comedy
yeah,
Festival.
yeah, yeah.
Minneapolis. Yep. And then I will be at the Comedy Chateau Comedy Festival in LA in June 14th.
Okay.
And
This will
then
this will air before then. All this is about 2 weeks out.
yeah. So yeah, there's, I get, I don't get up on stage as much as I would like to, but I get up about 3 to 5
Well,
times a week.
and I'm being sincere here. I hope I get to see you live one time.
Well,
I really
yeah,
do.
I hope so too. I hope, yeah, that would be great.
That
And
element, which you talked about versus the TikTok, I'll bet you're brilliant.
thank
I'll
you.
have to watch more of your stuff.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
no,
I need to post more stuff too.
you have a presence about you. You again. We'll hopefully we're now friends on Instagram and we can message one another. It's just
Sure.
the start of. I'll check back in with you, whatever. I'm real taken back by it. You have a presence about you. What I
Thank you.
was going to say is I worked in the music business and I
Right.
worked with a
Yeah.
lot of big stars. And I just kind of have a feeling that, when I talk to, I've done, 150 of these, and I kind of have a feeling when I talk to somebody versus um, some other folks. Well, you know what time it is, don't you? Do you
It's
know
that
what
time.
time it is?
It's that time.
Yeah.
It's that time for the drink.
No, no, no. You're wrong. We only have about 3 minutes left. It's your comedy
Okay.
minute time.
It's my comedy.
Priya, your comedy minute. Let's go.
My comedy minute. So my comedy minute, the one joke that I always come
It
back
doesn't have to
to.
be a joke. It can be whatever you want. I told you this. It can be anything
Right.
you want.
Yeah. But and what I thought about is there's a
Okay.
joke that always comes to mind for me.
Okay.
And
Good.
especially that I'm a mom now and I
Right.
have this
Okay.
human that I'm shaping into hopefully a
Human dude,
productive,
you're shaping. Okay.
into like some productive, like a piece of Play-Doh. I'm trying to shape
Okay.
it thing. Is Chris Rock's joke when he says about, they say how you can be anything you want,
Yeah.
right? You can be anything you want if it's paying. And I think about that all the time because, as you know, and you were in the music business, right? And with
Yeah.
comedy, there's so many ups and downs, right? And there are days when you're down, and when you're down, it's so hard to keep going, because it takes so long for you don't know if you're gonna hit, you don't know when you're gonna pop, you don't know if
Yeah.
if it's ever gonna turn into anything lucrative, right? But I mean, I'm still in it and I'm still going because it still feeds my soul,
Good for
right?
you.
But
My
I
mother,
think
my mother
that's
told
all
me, my mother told me I could be anybody I wanted to be. She was
Did you
really
really?
upset when I got arrested for identity theft. There you go. There you go. I made you
So
laugh.
that sticks in my head a lot, and it always makes me kind of laugh because when I ask
Well,
my
I
son,
thought you were going to say that my identity theft did. I'm saying it could be anybody I wanted to be.
because my son,
Well,
I'm trying to channel him into these things. He's great at drawing, he's great at piano, and I'm like, you could be a pianist and you could make tons of money. He's got a real nice swimmer's body, and he's great at swimming. And I'm like, you could be an Olympic swimmer. He's like, I want to be a YouTuber. I'm
yeah,
like,
that's
and
that's
I'm
after
like,
the
as
kids.
long as it pays.
You want him to be a pianist. You know, Liberace was a pianist,
Right?
but he
And
sucked
I'm
on
like,
the or. Hey, but he sucked on the organ.
you know.
Now, boy, we better stop the recording now. I'm getting silly.
All
Priya,
right.
thanks for being here. Okay,
Thank you for having me.
sit tight for a second. I apologize. I shouldn't have ended with the bad Liberace joke. You said pianist, and I'm silly. I told you I'm dumb.
That's okay.
Hold on a second. I'm going to stop the recording. I want to talk to you off the record. Did you have fun?
I did. Thank you.
All
Yes.
right, hold on a second.